Hello everyone, I hope you had a very wonderful, great day indeed, guys. And very much of a blessed, great morning and a very wonderful morning indeed. As you can see, guys, today's weather is quietly, literally, as in literally freezing and totally very much colder indeed as well. But nevertheless, guys, I'm exactly here. Oh, one more thing, guys. I'm very quietly sorry for uploading the videos and everything else in a very much quietly in a later stages because yesterday there was exactly no electricity and no power and no Wi-Fi for me to actually upload it. Even if I had even if I had the actual mobile data and stuff, it would actually take time with my data in order to upload the videos because they're very quietly long and they need as much data and as much Wi-Fi they can actually get. But nevertheless, guys, I'm still so really grateful for you guys' support in watching and in viewing my episodes from TikTok, from shorts, and from long videos as well. And from those of you who are also subscribing, it completely means a lot to me. May God bless you and may God stay with you and be with you in everything else that you're doing. And may you stay happy and stay true to yourself as well and enjoy your blessed week as well. So on today's episode, we're to speak about a powerful, dark, sinister druid that is a super villain and a member of the Order of the Five that decides the fate of humanity and wants to control the sacred world and the sacred universe and the known universe in the process to furthering their ultimate plans and their ultimate goals. And in a process to furthering their ultimate plans and their ultimate goals, so they can remain the sole rulers of the cosmos and of the rest of sacred existence in the process. Despite this, guys, the dark druid quietly believes in the order of the five's future goals and long-term plans to having sole control over mankind and over the sacred world and over the known universe and over the sacred universe as well. It is a very powerful fanatical believer over the ancient secret society of supervillains that existed throughout the ancient times, as well as is shadowy elite criminal organization, which are both exactly one criminal big or ancient organization known as the Order of the Five that decides the fate of humanity as well, which the Dark Druid also quietly believes in as well. Regardless of that as well, it is a sole believer and it also has its own greater philosophy as well within the organization, as every member of the Order of the Five is very quietly, ingenuity, gifted with a expertise and talents and powers and greater dark abilities as well. So let's actually begin. In the dark druid's previous ancient life, he was a fellow servant. He was a fellow servant of the original Lord of Magic during the ancient time, and a fellow devoted follower of the most powerful dark goddess witch known as Amber, the goddess of power, who's also known by another alias, the Witch of Power as well. He exactly served them completely, provided them with greater endless knowledge and forbidden dark magical techniques or powers and abilities in the process for them to remain in power and in control over the sacred world and over the sacred world and over the sacred universe as well and the known universe as well. Despite this, the dark druid continued to supply them with endless knowledge and greater resources than ever before. He was quietly working in his underground secretive dark laboratory that was quietly filled with ancient dark statues of the previous predecessors of the ancient dark seekers, the seconds, the of the other powerful dark ancient magic users, such as the dark witches and the dark sisters and the nature sisters and the power sisters. These statues were completely around all over the ancient dark laboratory cave where the dark druid was quietly practicing his dark experiments and his greatest experiment in unlocking the secrets of shadow energy and of wild energy and light energy as well in the process. Regardless of that, the dark druid made a very full discovery of the energy's secrets and powers, and he decided to keep some of them to himself and supply the others to the original Lord of Magic and to his followers and to his advisor known as Amber, the goddess of power, as a way to show them that he's still quietly committed to them, as a way to actually show them that he's still quietly committed to them and fanatically devoted to them as well, with their soul beliefs and their goals as well, which he quietly still believes in. Despite that, the dark druid continued over with these dark experiments, supplying Amber with endless new knowledge and darker knowledge and greater power and greater wisdom than ever before, in order for the original Lord of Magic to remain in power and in control over the sacred world and over the sacred magic universe in the process. In the middle ages of the age of dark magic, which was a very different catalyst of a war that wasn't quietly mentioned in sacred history or in Four Nation Hunter history, that the elders of the warlocks, druids, and the Four Nation Hunters exactly purposely erased it, because they knew exactly that the ancient forces of evil that quietly lived within those ancient times were very powerful and very dangerous, and they were the mysterious followers of the most powerful ancient forces of evil ever existed throughout Four Nation Hunter history, warlock history, wizard history, druid history, witch history, fairy history, and all types of supernatural history that these ancient beings of evil ever existed throughout the ages and before the ages of the original founders, who are rumored to be known as the sacred founders of the sacred world, who are also rumored to be known as the legendary monks and godlike beings that were the first original ancestors of these creatures and of these beings as well. Despite this, during in that middle ancient century of the age of dark magic, the dark druid made a very sinister contact with the mother with the mother of monsters in her dark dimension within that era, within that previous century, in order for her to supply him with endless forbidden knowledge. In return, the dark druid supplied the mother monster queen, the monster queen of the dark dimension, the ruler of the dark dimension, with endless forbidden dark techniques and mysterious powers and greater knowledge than ever before. During in that time, they became officially well associated with one another. They were able to exactly send each other interdimensional messages through one another, throughout the sinister followers, which were able to exactly keep tabs of their messages, and also throughout the previous followers as well. Throughout that following middle age of century, which was quietly unmentioned of the age of dark magic, the dark druid continued to use that forbidden knowledge and power in order to get stronger and more invincible for himself and for his followers. Sooner or rather than later, he began that it is time for him to actually defect from the original Lord of Magic's goals and his mission, and from Amber's true mission and her own goals as well, which he believed that they were not exactly any use to him, since he realized that their goals are very much catastrophically would cause a catastrophic destruction and destroy the cosmic balance of power that they're willing to exactly destroy, which will not exactly serve him any good, or which will not exactly serve him any purpose for his goals or for his own goals and for his future collaboration with any of his associates. During which in that time he defected from the other dark druids, leaving the others behind to serve the original Lord of Magic and Amber, while he exactly continued on his secretive own mission by himself, to furthering his own dark goal of seizing power and controlling many other magical worlds, kingdoms, colleges throughout the entire sacred magic dimension, so that he and the others of his followers can remain the supreme rulers of the entire sacred magic universe. Throughout for his quest, in order to begin, he needed three things. He needed to obtain power, he needed to obtain influence, he needed to obtain greater connections and greater resources. For that, he had to exactly form formidable, secretive, shadowy alliances with the most dangerous, evil, ancient criminals that were never quietly unknown and unmentioned throughout Four Nation Hunter history, and some that are not exactly quietly unmentioned throughout sacred history. To this point, he exactly met them. He exactly created a powerful dark hologram of himself with the other sinister shadowy figures, with the other sinister shadowy associates of criminals, who also conjured a dark shadowy holographic shadow of themselves as well, in a very ancient cave that was quietly in a desert planet, which will make the perfect place for them to actually meet. The desert planet was quietly on the far fringes of the known, or on the far fringes of the known worlds, which was quietly in a close proximity to the golden universe, and far off, closer to the known universe, but also closer to proximity to the sacred universe, but in between the universes themselves as well. That is exactly where the planet was. The four formidable associate, able to exactly conjure shadowy holographic images of themselves in order to conceal their identities, but their eyes remain the same as always, which they can also see each other from that point of view. Despite that, they were able to exactly discuss the Dark Druid's defection against the original Lord of Magic's goal and his mission, which they quietly believed that he was very quietly a very, very powerful fanatic follower. Regardless of that, the Dark Druid began to reassure his associate that he has his own goal and he has his own objectivity of his own, much like unless of his brothers and sisters who are very well devoted to Amber and the other powerful dark priestesses and witches. He's not exactly like them. The other mysterious associates were very skeptical to see the first of the Dark Druids defect from the original Lord of Magic and from Amber and from the other powerful forces of greater evil, who are the most ancient and the most prominent darker beings ever existed. Despite that, the shadowy associate exactly discovered that with the Dark Druid at their side, they could exactly receive greater intimate dark knowledge and greater intimate dark powers and abilities that they've never able to gain. So they agreed that to exactly add the Dark Druid into their group as well. And the Dark Druid was quietly, happily pleased that the four shadowy ancient criminals decided to exactly aid him to their group. The Dark Druid also began to reassure the shadowy holographic figures of the ancient, powerful dark criminals that he will keep their names from being mentioned or from being known to the other superheroes or any secret societies of superheroes that will ever exist in a far future, which he believes will exactly come to bear fruit. The four shadowy holographic associates told the Dark Druid that there's no need for them to exactly worry about their names being mentioned when they're very well aware that the prophesied child will exactly return to overthrow and kill the original Lord of Magic in a far future, and which will form a powerful unit of superheroes who will be greater than anything else that the sacred world and the rest of sacred history has ever seen, which will pose a greater threat to their goals and to their plans as well. Regardless of the last, the other shadowy holographic figure told the Dark Druid that he must join forces with another powerful, ancient, shadowy, elite criminal organization known as the Order of the Five, which is one of the most powerful, dangerous, secret, shadowy, ancient, shadowy secret societies that ever existed throughout sacred history. It is very quietly a powerful, formidable organization formed by four powerful, ancient, shadowy criminals who are able to exactly form the organization and the secret society to deciding humanity's fate. And it will be wise that he joins forces with them in order for you to remain our inside source and as a high ranking member. With your devotion within that organization, you could provide them with endless, unlimited, darker resources and greater expertise from your own version of dark experience. The Dark Druid gratefully exactly accepted, but he asked the four holographic shadowy holographic associate what really exactly gained by joining forces with the most powerful, dangerous criminals. The other shadowy holographic criminal exactly told the Dark Druid that he will gain unlimited resources and influence and connections throughout humanity, and also by manipulating events from behind the scenes, which will make you dangerous and very powerful. Thus, in doing so, you'll complete your goal and your long-term plans in a very faster way, which will speed up the progress of your sinister goals and your plans very much unlikely quickly than ever before. The Doctor began to realize that the sinister shadowy holographic associate were quietly telling the truth. By doing so, his goals will be quiet to be able to speed up the process of his goals, and plans will be able to be unlikely to be speed up very quickly, and that he'll be able to finalize, he'll be able to fertilize his plans and also bring them to intuition one way or another. He agreed to accept the introduction that the 4 holographic shadowy associate of criminals exactly proposed to him, and that he'll find a way to contact the members of the Order of the Five to join the secret criminal organization. And after that, the last member of the shadowy four holographic criminal exactly told the Dark Druid that he must remain in the organization for as long as possible, which could be very fruitful for them as well, which in other words, they could benefit greatly as well. The Dark Druid as well quietly believed in a word as he reassured his associate that is exactly what he'll do as well. After that, all 5 of them, as a dark shadowy holographic holograms, disappeared from within the cave that's quietly within the rocks of the ancient dark crystals, vanished after that, and after that they never quietly met or seen again from the long contact from them speaking each other. Throughout the following centuries and the ancient times that quietly passed by, the dark druid kept on monitoring and kept on keeping tabs on the dark seekers, and also trying to find ways to contact the members of the Order of the Five while he remained in his central headquarters of his darker laboratory sinister cave in order for him to contact them. But instead, he didn't discover that they are the ones who will be coming to him. On the later century, one of the members of the Order of the Five, known as Dark Ren, began to enter the dark, sinister, magical laboratory cave where the Dark Druid exactly lived by. And the Dark Druid are very skeptical that he met the great legendary Dark Ren, which the entire sacred dark worlds of the magic dark dimension have been whispering and talking about the most powerful dark magic user ever existed throughout the dark magic histories ever able to be speaking about. Regardless of that, Dark Ren exactly appreciated the compliment as he told the Dark Druid that the members of the Order of the Five have heard great things about your services to the original Lord of Magic and about your greatest and most bravest collaboration with him, and that they'll be very quietly pleased to add you to the group, and they'll be very quietly pleased to add you to the organization, and be very quietly wise to receive your expertise and your talent and your greater connections to the energies of dark magic and powers and scientific knowledge, which you fully grasp with your own greater expertise. Regardless of that, the Dark Druid told Dark Ren that he's been expecting the members of the Order of the Five to come to him because he's been searching for them for many centuries. Dark Ren exactly decided it's best to tell the Dark Druid something that no one has ever exactly unable to notice. The members of the Order of the Five remain in the shadows because they don't want to literally expose their presence and the operations to the sacred worlds, political spotlights and wars and conflicts, rather than to influence them from the shadows and controlling the conflicts and wars from behind the scenes, which will benefit them in the far future of the sacred dark war. Which, in other words, them remaining in the shadows is quietly good for them, because in return they will benefit greatly in order for them to further their plans and their goal, which in doing so provides them protection, and it also keeps them hidden and sheltered from being identified and from being connected to any other members of the Order of the Five, which is the organization, and as well as the ancient secret society itself, which them knowing each other and the other forces of good and the other greater forces of evil, such as their competitors, won't be able to connect the dots that the other sinister, ancient, powerful villains are well collaborating with each other. The Dark Druid was very quietly taken out of words as he realized that the members of the Order of the Five are very well intelligent, are very well observant with who they let in, and they're not meant to be undermined or to be underestimated. Now that realizing what Darkwing exactly said, that the members of the Order of the Five don't have to be chased when they are the ones that come to you out of their own free will, which meaning that they've been well aware that he's been after them for many, many centuries, and especially during the ancient times as well. Because of that, Darkwing exactly told the Dark Druid that it's time for him to join forces with them. And they know very well that you're in communication with the other sinister, shadowy group of super ancient criminals who also keep to themselves to the shadows. And they are very well aware that they will gratefully require their expertise and their connections through you as well. Regardless of that, the Dark Druid exactly accepted the proposition, as he well known that the members of the Order of the Five can never be fooled by a powerful Dark Druid who's exactly nothing but an associate to another shadowy group of ancient, powerful criminals. He shook hands with Dark Ren, and Dark Ren exactly told him, "Welcome to the organization, and you're hereby a partner and also an associate of the organization as well." On the on the 9th on the 9th of January, the members of the Order of the Five were quietly actually on a video audience when one of the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders exactly summoned them through a video audience and exactly told them of the interference that the Universal Heroes exactly caused through the loss of their technologies and all of the destructive technologies and weapons that the Universal Heroes were able to collect and also destroy throughout the process of the battle. Regardless of that, the other member of the Order of the Five began to tell the Shadow Empire warlord that the battle was quietly worth it, and despite the interference of the Universal Heroes thwarting the operation and the successful plan which was able to lay down a groundwork for them, but they now well aware know that the Universal Heroes interference is now considered enemy actions to their plans as well. On the 10th of January, one Dark Druid exactly managed to recreate a video audience with the members of the Order of the Five by telling the members of the Order of the Five that the entire delivery system of the transportation system from the other world's delivery system became gradually interrupted when the Universal Heroes managed to interrupt their grateful work, and they managed to collect all the dark technologies and all of its supplements. Regardless of that, the Goddess of Light began to reassure the Dark Druid that the delivery system is very much quietly, highly operational, and that their partners will still dispatch more greater technology than ever before, which in theory will also take down the Universal Heroes and put them down gratefully at their mercy, and literally taking them down for good as well. And the Dark Druid was quietly present within the video audience as well at that time. On the actual 15th of January, Stealthface exactly created a video audience with the members of the Order of the Five and began to exactly tell them that due to the interference of the Universal Heroes, that they weren't able to exactly gather as much of the serum and as much of the chemicals, since they were quietly, gratefully destroyed due to the Universal Heroes' interference and also as well to the involvement. Regardless of that, Master Shadow exactly began to reassure the Enforcer that the Universal Heroes' interference is now considered a deadly threat to their plans and to the operation, as the Dark Druid began to agree on that as well. On the actual 25 of January, the members of the Order of the Five held up another video audience with one of their associates, which was another random evil warlord, who began to tell them the plans and collaboration had began to successfully take place the way they're supposed to, and the rest of the delivery system will be quietly in order. Regardless of that, one member of the Order of the Five during the video audience began telling the evil warlord that everything else is now going to plan, and that the successful plan of the operation will gradually take place, which this video audience began taking place on the day and on the demise of the original Lord of Magic, which the members of the Order of the Five were not exactly well aware of at that time as well. On the actual 15th of February, on the day where the Universal Heroes completely disappeared due to the cosmic blast of a huge explosion across the entire known universe, throughout the entire known universe, which was on the other sector of the sacred universe, by fighting another sinister threat and another powerful force. This time, the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders saw allegiances to themselves, while the others remain associates of the most powerful, dangerous, shadowy, criminal elite organization that will quietly exactly continue to still supply them with destructive technologies, while the others form their own formidable factions in order to take in control of the Shadow Empire, in order to take in control of the Shadow Empire from within, while the others exactly still remain associated and allies of the most dangerous and powerful, ancient, criminal, shadowy, elite criminal organizations that ever existed as well. On that very day, the members of the Order of the Five were quietly able to create another video audience when Blacksport began to tell them that he failed with the original objectivity in order to literally granting the crystal the giant crystal power, the giant crystal energy, which was quietly trapped in the underwater kingdom due to the interference of the universal water heroes who gratefully literally intervened during the battle. Regardless of that, the other member of the Order of the Five on the video audience began to assure Blacksport that the operation is successfully going according to plan, and that their plans can successfully as well begin to bear fruit, which will soon begin to actually benefit them as well in the long term, in the long term course of the soul, or on the soul of the great objectivity as well, which the Dark Druid was quietly present in the video audience as well. On the actual 25 of February, the members of the Order of the Five were quietly present in a video audience, as well as the Dark Druid when Stillface and the other operative of the organization presented to them with a beautiful regenerative crystal that very much quietly and likely began to singularly heal itself during its blast and battle, during the last blast and battle when Blacksport was trying to actually retrieving it, and stated to them that the crystal was highly making progress with his own regenerative healing powers and everything else, and the members of the Order of the Five were very quietly, successfully pleased that the operation is gratefully exactly taking place, and that the plans can successfully begin to bear fruit as well in the long-term plan of their goals. And the Dark Druid was quietly present with the other members as they all saw the crystal being miraculously beginning to heal from its own blast due to it being destroyed from its last encounter when the operative was trying to retrieve it as well. On the actual 25 of March, the members of the Order of the Five staged a deliberate raid on the Shadow Empire facility, taking all the experiments that are quietly trapped in a hypersleep, that are quietly trapped in a hypersleep cryogenic free stasis pod, and the Dark Druid was quietly present with all the other members as they all took genetic experiments and all the weapons and all the assets out of the Shadow Empire facility, including all the unauthorized test subjects and the greater experiments along with it, which they believe would be very useful for them in order for them to create a powerful supernatural army, which would gratefully exactly benefit them in the long-term course of their plans as well. On the actual 9th of April, the Dark Druid was quietly present in a video conference with the other members of the Order of the Five as Master Shadow began to thank his greatest long-term operative for his great successful work and great missions in trying to destroying the universal heroes and the rest of their forces, which gratefully exactly survived during the battle that they were able to encounter, and was also able to tell him that their partner is very gratefully well pleased with his great resourcefulness and his willingness and his determination, which in theory would make him the high new member of the Order of the Five as well. On the 15th of April, the Dark Druid was quietly present in a video audience with the other members of the Order of the Five as the real members who were quietly standing beside the monitors, thanking the enforcer Stillface for his great work on services to the organization. And Stillface was able to thank the members of the Order of the Five for also exactly realizing his great commitment and to his cause to the organization, and as well to its plans, to the plans of the organization, as the members of the Order of the Five began to make sure that began to realize to make sure that Stillface never actually leaves them behind. And in doing so, Stillface began to reassure the members of the Order of the Five that he will never exactly abandon the members of the Order of the Five, now that they began to actually see his services and his greater commitment to the organization itself as well. And the Dark Druid was quietly present in that video audience as well. On the actual 25th of May, the Dark Druid exactly returned to his sinister dark base, which was another different dark base, in a very different dark base, and another powerful dark sinister crystal cave, this time with statues of dark crystal monsters that were quietly never mentioned throughout sacred history. The monsters that I'm about to tell you guys are not very good monsters at all. They're not very, very good monsters at all. They all come from the dark dimension. Others of them come from the worst of the worst dark dimension ever born and ever made throughout the dark dimension history and throughout Phoenician Hunter history as well. Despite this, these statues of these monsters were very much in crystal statue form, as if you can actually see them in the crystal image form, as in you can actually see them in the crystal statue image form, while the others were in where the others were quietly in a normal ancient sacred statue appearances. Despite that, the Doctor was quietly present in that base of operation with the other ancient statues of the monsters, where he began secretly experimenting with wild energy, and also with the power of duplicating, and also with the power of self-duplicating clones of himself, literally trying to create clones of himself, and also trying to actually harness the power of wild energy's power and magic in the process as well for himself as well. On the actual 25 of June, the Dark Druid and the rest of his followers began exactly preparing for their sinister dark experiments on the other worlds and planets, which were on the other side of the dark universe. That were literally on the other side of the dark universe, where they began exactly combining science with dark magic all together in one. This time, they fully integrated Harvey Core technology with Shadow Empire technology as one, with a dark scientific technology all in one. They combined it and merged it all in one, which beamed and created a powerful dark mythical cosmic seed of an energy, which created a dark cosmic energy of magic, of a seed of energy itself. The four followers of the dark Druid were very, very quietly pleased with their creation. They were quietly all in the asteroid base when this creation was after all born, and the Dark Druid began to realize that he was literally grasping the fingertips of his dark powers and his magic at the very, very beginning of his greater abilities, literally by adapting and literally by evolving. Now that he has managed to create something so cosmic and so dark and so very much benevolent ever before, as they were all exactly staring at the cosmic energy that the power was actually beaming from within the technologies itself. The Doctor told his followers that with this type of power, that it's best that it remains only to them and only to them, which they'll begin to utilize its energy and its resources to making sure that the assassins of the Order of the Five are well prepared to receiving greater incompatible destructive technology. Which means when he means by the assassins of the Order of the Five, he means the Noten Knights, who are a group of powerful super villain and assassins, and an organization of formidable assassins, an organization of formidable dark ancient assassins who also work on the behalf of the Order of the Five, to making sure that their goals successfully bear fruit as well. A powerful, sinister, ancient criminal organization of shadowy assassins of Noten Knights dedicated to working on the behalf of the Order of the Five, just as the Order of Darkness works on the behalf of the founders as well. It's just the same as that, but quite a different organization that's less different than the Order of Darkness, which are highly competing against one another. As I said before, guys, forces of evil are fighting against each other and also against the forces of good as well, just in order to make it so clear to you all. Regardless of that, the dark followers of the Dark Druid began to exactly agree on that point, that they were exactly modifying and creating destructive compatible technology for the assassins so that they can able to use against the greatest enemy, which are the universal heroes, and the Dark Druid began to be unlikely to be assured of that as well. On the actual 26th of July, the Dark Druid exactly presented himself in a dark, shadowy, holographic figure with his other associate, which he exactly met during the ancient time. And this time, they're all exactly able to reconvene on a dark, powerful, sinister cave, which the base of the cave's location is unknown and also undisclosed as well. Also has the same ancient markings and paintings of the powerful Dark Druid that existed during ancient times as well, which tells a story about their power, about them giving life to wild energy, and also serving a powerful, dark, formidable, shadowy, dark founder of a godlike being as well. Regardless of that, the members exactly all reconvene in the dark holographic shadowy form, as they were all able to begin to discuss the Dark Druid's greater progress in becoming a high ranking member of the Order of the Five. Regardless of that, the Dark Druid began to telling his long time greater associate that the members of the Order of the Five are well aware that he's actually in communication with you. His associate began to reassure him that the members of the Order of the Five and also with them, they share a common goal and a common interest, and they all know each other. It's just that they communicate differently since during the ancient following times of the sacred since during the ancient times of the sacred war that the original Dodo magic began, which made their communication very much quietly harder for them to actually remain in contact. But because of that, the members of the Order of the Five know very well that we don't pose a threat to their goals and to their mission, which they quietly believe that we're actually assisting them by providing them with endless resources as well. The doctor began to actually believe in his longtime associate, as was actually able to believe in what they're actually saying. Because of that, he also began to telling them that how is it possible that they all knew that you'll actually talk with me, or rather communicate with me? Like I said before, the members of the Order of the Five are well experienced, ancient, powerful criminals who are very well observant and very well open-minded on who they let in their organization and within their high-ranking ranks. They actually been communicating with us, and we've been communicating with them for the past few centuries, giving them endless resources. It's possible that they've been able to aid them with greater endless resources for the past few couple of months as well, regardless of that as well. Despite that, as the Dark Druid seemed quietly reassured of that as well. On the actual 10th of August, Master Shadow held up a video conference with the members of the Order of the Five as he began to tell them that the plans and preparation are beginning to successfully bear fruit, and the Dark Druid also began to very much quietly felt reassured of that as well. On the actual 25th of September, the members of the Order of the Five began to reconvene on the Dark Crystal Temple, which was quietly in a different planet of a world that's quietly ruled by evil warlords and commanders and leaders. Despite that, they were all able to reconvene as the Goddess of Life began to ask Master Shadow that everything else is quietly in place the way it's supposed to be. Master Shadow began to reassure the Goddess of Light that the preparations and everything else had been set and everything else is ready to go according to plan as well, as he reassured her of that as well. And the Dark Druid was present within the meetings. On the 26th, the members of the Order of the Five reconvene again on the Dark Crystal Temple to speak about the event that actually happened. Regardless of that, the other members began to exactly realize that their operations were quietly, gratefully sabotaged due to the thwarting and interference of the Universal Heroes and of the other United Heroes who began actually thwarting their long-term plans and their goals. Regardless of that, Master Shadow began actually telling the members of the Order of the Five that it would be wise not for them to repeat the same mistakes as they ever did before in fighting up against the Universal Heroes, which were quietly forced to learn the hard way since they literally fought up against them as well. Regardless of that, the Dark Druid began to agree that the wise strategy and the wise organizable strategy way is for them to actually remain low and to also keep an open minded of that. Until then, elderly Granny exactly also stepped in from the shadows of the Dark Crystal Temple and began to reassure the members of the Order of the Five that everything is going according to plan and that she has a plan in mind to literally deal with these powerful universal heroes, a plan that might put them down permanently, as she began to reassure her fellow members of the Order of the Five. The Dark Druid was very quietly skeptical of what that plan might be on that very day. On the 26th of October, the Dark Druid as well created a very much of a powerful dark ancient labyrinth within a powerful destroyed world and a planet where he can actually focus his power and his ability, to which point he exactly created another dark laboratory where he was able to focus his entire attention on the cosmic power that he was able to create, which he began creating destructive technology, and all of his forces and all of his followers were quietly present and also quietly present with him, and they also remained with him and stayed with him by creating destructive and more compatible technology ever before as well. After on the actual 26th of November, the Dark Druid and the rest of his followers began attacking the entire sacred magical school of fairies and warlocks on the other side of the magic dimension, which they began besieging it with a dark magic. The great fairies and warlocks were forced to fight for their very college before it was very quietly conquered, which they easily almost triumphant, but due to the interference of the universal magic heroes and universal magical that were able to exactly save the college from being conquered, the Doctor began to realize that universal magical is now posing as an annoyance and also as a threat to his plans and also to his goals, as he told his followers that they must teleport themselves away directly, as they all completely disappeared with the stroke of a purple lightning that symbolizes their complete disappearance as well. Despite that, Universal Magical and the rest of our heroes began to realize that the dark magical forces are not just attacking schools just for any unknown reason, that they're literally attacking schools because they're now planning a sinister plan in mind, and whatever that plan is will not be good for the rest of the sacred magic universe as well. After that attack on November, the Dark Druid and the rest of his followers began to remain quietly, literally decided to remain quietly low for the whole of December, not to reveal themselves and not to announce themselves in order to keep their presence low and the operational since their previous attack against the Universal Magic Heroes and against Universal Magic Girl as well on that very day. On the 27th of January, the Doctor was quietly present in a video audience with the members of the Order of the Five, as Golden Knight and Red Knight began to reassure the members of the Order of the Five that the operation is quietly in place and that the implementation has been quietly set. All that remains is for the pawns to begin taking their place as well. Regardless of that, the Doctor quietly seemed reassured, as all did the other members as well. On the 25th of February, one of the other founding members of the Order of the Five held up a video conference with the members of the Order of the Five on his central headquarters, where the Dark Druid began to exactly tell them that the preparations have been quietly set and that everything else is ready to begin and also to taking place the way it was meant to be orchestrated by. The other members seemed quietly reassured, as the leader and founder of the Order of the Five began telling the other members that their plans and preparations are set to go, and that deciding the fate of humanity will now come to a standstill as well. On the 15th of March, the Dark Druid was able to exactly summon the dark witches who come from the sacred magic dimension who was able to exactly reconvene with them face to face on beneath near to a magical waterfall that's quietly covered with blue magic and energy that also bears the two statues of one of a superhero origin hero and one of an evil force, one of an evil dark magic user on the other side of it. Within the waterfall there was an ancient cave that was quietly exactly there, and also there were purple crystals that were quietly there. The witches and the other witches began to show up in order to speak with the dark druid, as the dark druid began to exactly tell them that he's quietly indebted, that he's gratefully indebted and desperately in need of their expertise and of their greater powers for what's to come. The witches began asking the dark druid what will they exactly benefit from this. The dark druid began to tell the witches that in return he will exactly provide them with more witches who share the same goal and the same idealistic goals of you witches trying to conquer and rule the entire sacred magic universe, which will be very crucial for also for him to benefit in the long-term process of his goal and of his plan, which the witches began to now realize that they found a mysterious, powerful, formidable ally in the long-term course of their life. The dark witches began to agree that they'll exactly aid him in his greater goal and his greater mission, as long as they benefit as well from this. On the 26th of April, the doctor was quietly present in a video audience with the members of the Order of the Five. As a founder and leader of the Order of the Five, known as Master Shadow, began to telling the members of the Order of the Five that their future plans and their long-term plans may be actually be compromised due to elderly granny jeopardizing their partnership, with a long mysterious colleague and associate who's been rather a powerful ally to their goals and to their mission as well, that she's been dealt with and that she'll never pose a threat, and that she almost threatened their future goals and plans in the process. Regardless of the less, they will soon benefit from their future plans and goals, and their plans and goals are quietly set into alignment, and then all they have to do is decide for the fate of humanity, which will be very crucial for them to further their plans and their long-term goals as well. The Dark Druid was very quietly reassured, as all the other members seemed very quietly reassured of that as well, since the greater battle has really quietly taken place with Elderly Granny's defeat and the Universal Heroes rising to the occasion as well. On the actual 20th of May, the Dark Druid was able to meet up with another powerful, sinister Dark Witch, very powerful and very dangerous and very, very highly aggressive. She was quietly an unknown Dark Witch throughout the entire sacred magic's history. She was able to tell the Dark Druid that she was willing to provide him with endless resources and a power to summon an ancient, catalytic, ancient, mythical monster that she believes would be very crucial for him to obtain its power in order for him to amplify his dark magic and his abilities in the actual process as well. The doctor was very quietly intrigued as he was very able to be skeptical about what the mysterious Dark Witch was able to exactly tell him about this mythical beast and creature. What did they exactly gain by its power? The dark mysterious witch actually told the Dark Druid more power than ever before, 10 times stronger and 100 times more greater than anything else. To this point, he agreed to aid her and she agreed to aid him as well. Despite this, guys, the Dark Druid is a very ancient and powerful, sinister, dark magic user who has become a greater long-term servant of the original Lord of Magic and of Amber, the goddess of power, serving them, providing them with endless greater resources and greater expertise and powerful tactics and technician in order for the Shadow Empire to remain in power. It is thanks to this Dark Druid as well that Amber and the other dark magical users and followers of the other original Lord of Magic that were able to exactly keep in check of the cosmic balance of power due to him providing them his greatest assistance and knowledge as well in the process. Regardless of that, the Dark Druid is very skillfully in teleportation, summoning, conjuring dark magical powers, skillful in dark arts, skillful in opening portals, conjuring dark magical orbs, manipulating shadow energy, manipulating wild energy, infusing himself with wild energy, and also with the power of resurrection, the power of mind controlling, telekinesis, the power of hypnosis, and the power of levitation, and the power of flight as well, and the power of fast super speed and of super strength, invulnerability, immunities of supernatural powers, and also the power of telepathic communication, and also the greater power of greater immortality as well, and the power of long gravity. He's very, very immortal and extremely very intelligent, resourceful, very cunning, very ruthless, shares a darker ambition and a darker desire to rule the entire other known worlds of the magic universe, so that he and his followers can remain the sole rulers. He is very, very a super strategist and a super tactician, very good in forming formidable shadowy alliances with powerful shadowy groups of supervillains and other dangerous shadow empire warlords and evil warlords and commanders and dark dangerous witches, warlocks and evil wizards and evil witches and evil sinister warlords and powerful dangerous criminals as well, which he uses as his operatives as well. He also forms a very shadowy alliance with one of the most powerful ancient shadowy criminals who are also powerful shadowy group that's still quietly an unknown group. And regardless of that, he's now a member of two ancient shadowy groups of supervillains, such as the Order of the Five, which he quietly believes in their goals and in their mission, in their philosophy, in their true mission in deciding the fate of humanity. He's very well a true believer of the organization's goals and of the ancient secret society's goals and its mission, and is a very well devoted member to the organization, supplying them with endless resources. In return, they will supply him with greater influence, connections, unlimited resources for them to actually utilizing these ancient criminals' resources for his own goals and for his own ambition. He has a darker ambition and is a very power-hungry dark druid, willing to obtain cosmic dark powers and dark abilities, infinite powers, which he already has obtained, and the power to heal himself, and he possesses the greater power of infinite magic, enough infinite magic and enough infinite power of controlling magnetic repulsive forces at will, very stronger and very extremely immortal. Due to his long gravity and to his immortality, he's very good at quietly maintaining his usual bases of operation as well as his central headquarters, which is an ancient, powerful, underground, dark, sinister laboratory that is quietly filled with cryogenetic free stasis pods of huge containers containing shadow energy and wild energy and of purple energy and of wild magic and all of those types of cosmic energies and substance at his disposal, which he can easily utilize for himself. And due to this, he was able to gain an amount of thousands of dark magic users or followers, such as the dark druids, the dark witches, and the dark faithful, who began to follow him in every way, and they believe in him as the leader. He's also able to gain other sinister followers of the dark seekers who also believe in him, in his greater divinity, in his greater work and mission as well. Despite this, he's been researching about the ancient dark deity, king of darkness, about his powers and his abilities, and about the ancient shadow witches, and also about the ancient original dark formation hunter known as the Fallen, about his powers and his abilities, in order for him to harness their powers and to create new abilities for himself as well, so that he can become extremely powerful and very, very dangerous. He's very determined, very relentless, so persistent, very, very, very has a very dark ambition and a dark desire. Out of all the members of the Order of the Five, he's one of the darkest, scariest, most powerful of all. His origin story and history is a mystery, but there is an ancient painting of him being born of the other dark, sinister witches known as the Power Sisters, who are able to give birth to him in the ancient dark crystal temples, which are quietly scattered within the entire magical worlds and planets, which show his history of him being born of a powerful dark druid, also coming out of a womb of a powerful dark sister known as the Dark Witch, which I previously told you about as well, which were able to pass the ancient primordial dark magic straightly to this child as well, which in other words means it's actually him as well. But the Phoenician hunters are literally well aware of this dark druid's history, and they haven't been able to also keep tabs of his history as well. Despite this, he's also learned the hard way to never underestimate the universal hero's abilities in thwarting his operation and his long-term plans in the process. He learns from his failures as he finds the Universal Magic Heroes and Universal Magic Girl a very exciting new threat and a greater obstacle for him to fight. He never lets his determination to taking down a new foe or new obstacle bring him down, as he's very quietly while adamant to taking down his new enemies as he learns of their abilities and their interference, since the other ancient competitors that he's competing with have learned the hard way of taking them down as well. He's very well observant and very well intelligent, very, very well powerful, given the power of transformation to transform into a very powerful, deadly, supernatural monsters, and with the power of shapeshifting, granted the power of greater shapeshifting to changing his skin and his face and his eyes into changing his face and his skin, and also with the power to shift and also with the power to shapeshift himself into a different person, which he does in different times to actually fool the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders in different times, in order for them to believe that he's still a fellow follower of the Dark Druid as well, or the other Dark Druid as well, in order for him to hide his personality and himself within his very disguise. Very optimistic, very persistent, shares a darker, stronger desire to remain the supreme Dark Druid ever existed throughout sacred magic history, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to do that as well. Shares a dark desire, believes in the goals of the Order of the Five and of the other shadowy groups of ancient powerful criminals as well. Despite that, guys, this is today's episode. I all hope you have a wonderful, great day indeed, and a very blessed day. Today's episode was about the Dark Druid, who is a member of the Order of the Five as well. And despite that, guys, I'm very grateful for your support and watching and viewing my episode. May you continue to do so as well. And may you have a blessed day and a great week. And I'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday. Take care and love you. It's very extremely much quietly cold, guys, as you can see as well. But regardless of that, have a wonderful day. Love yourself and God bless you all, and take care. Appreciate your support and you guys viewing. Please continue to do so. Love you and take care. Bye. Bye.